everybody, and welcome into today's episode of the Top Cut Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. I'm your host, Sunny, here with Caleb. How are you doing, Caleb?
Doing pretty good.
Cannot complain about that. So we are... This episode is for Tuesday, July 27th. And we're going to be honest with you. We don't have a lot going on here.
It's like the first week in a long time where there just hasn't been anything. I mean, there's some Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens stuff, like a new archetype. Look at me. New mechanic, quote unquote, and a new monster type.
Yeah, and
it's fusions. It's just straight up fusions, and the new monster type is Cyborg.
And it's cool and all, but the only thing about that is that it's
part of Rush Duel. Which isn't a thing in the States yet.
Yet.
We will be at least getting it in video game form soon. So then maybe it'll matter. Yeah,
hopefully soon it'll matter. I don't know exactly when it'll matter, but soon. In the meantime, though, we do have other things that we can bring you. Today will be the OCG Metagame Report. So we'll just be talking about some of the stuff going on in the OCG because realistically, they're two sets ahead of us, but it can give us
an idea
of what's coming, right?
Yeah. Particularly because they just got Flunderies and Zhangzhang.
Right. So they're running. They already have Burst of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So
which we're getting in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah. So their metagame is completely and totally different from ours.
Wait, no, we're getting Dawn of Majesty in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll be getting Burst of Destiny in like October.
Right. And they have the Synchro Storm structure. I mean, the Synchro Storm set, too.
Yeah, which we won't be getting until January. January 21st, I want to say?
I think so.
It's like mid-January.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, the only other thing that there is to talk about is... we have some of the artwork for the Grand Creators, which is the artwork is basically just
an armored
2 new monsters, a rock monster with a giant battle axe, and an elven sorceress. So it really does look like there's a chance that they lean into this as with a remember how we were talking about the potential of there to be a Lord of the Rings archetype?
Yeah, or that style of fantasy.
Yeah. So and then after the OCG Metagame Report, we will have a kind of a breakdown of some of the decks that we think are really underrated right now. We want to thank a listener for suggesting that, because that was a listener suggested topic. And thank you so much for that. And we hope that
you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing to talk about, you want to just go right into the OCG Metagame Report?
Let's just go right into it.
Okay, cool. So the thing to think about here is that, like we said, there are 2 sets ahead of us. So it automatically makes their entire metagame look different. But even more so is that their ban list is very different. So some of the tournaments that we have to go off of here, we have some like 60-man tournaments and like some 2v2s with 29 teams, so another 58-man tourney. Here's another 58. But they've got about a dozen and a half tournaments to look at here. But the really interesting things here is the metagame breakdown. And this is for the 17th of July through the 21st of July. So this would be last week. You've got... And all this information is coming from Road of the King. It's a great tool for looking at OCG metagame stuff. Because, like, realistically, it's the only place to get this information for us. So, but this is a... The most recent metagame breakdown is heavily 15% Zhangzhang, 13% Prank Kids, 11.7% Virtual World, 8% Drytron, 5% Eldritch, 5% Flunderese, 5% Orcust, 5% Shadow, 5% Tri-Brigade, and 26% others. So this is like Magician, Hero, Dragon Maid, Dragon Link, Endymion, Evil Twin,
Zephyra, Phantom Knight.
Yeah, Adamancipator, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, looking at this, what about this really sticks out to you, Caleb?
Well, the fact there are so many Zhang cards, and I do believe, yes, here we go. First place was in fact a player who goes by the name of C, went 7-0 with Zhang.
Right.
Zhang got first.
Right, and it was actually an 8-round tournament. He went 7-0 because he had a bye at one point.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, Zhang is coming out in Burst of Destiny. It's like a synchro summon mechanic, and
the deck has no tuners.
Yeah, so it's all about like synchroing into level 8s and 10s, and the tuners that they use are actually all the level 4s and stuff. When they summon a token, and the token is a tuner.
Yep.
So, but it's really interesting to me to see some of the side deck options, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
This is a good example of the Zhang deck. They've got 3 of one of the level 6s, 3 of one of the level 4s, 3 of another one of the level 4s, 3 of the new Ecclesia card. Not Dogmatic Ecclesia, just like Ecclesia,
the Maiden of White or something like that.
Right. 1 Nib,
triple Maxi, triple Ash Blossom,
1 Ghost Bell,
double Gamma, and a Driver because they're only allowed 2 Gammas.
Is Gamma semi-limited over there?
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. It's weird, and people still run it.
Yeah, some of the Zhang spells.
Triple Desires.
Yeah, 2 Call By, 2 Cross Out.
1
Instant
Fusion. And their Instant Fusion target, I do not recognize that card.
Neither do I.
Might be something new in Burst of Destiny or something. And then 3 of the Zhang Trap, and 2 Emperor.
So this is what, 41? Yeah,
41.
The extra deck is a lot of the Zhang monsters. Interesting that he's running a Colossal Fighter.
That is interesting.
And a Crimson Blader.
Yeah. I get the 2, what's it called? Something Defleur?
No. That's the Zhang level 10.
Oh, no, because he's running Qi Xiao, the Zhang Grand Swordmaster, and Baroness de Fleur as well.
Oh, so that's the new...
Yeah, that's the
new level 10 Fleur monster.
Yes.
From... Oh.
Yeah, the one at the very end, that's the Swordmaster. The 2 right before, he's running 2 Baroness de Fleur.
Yeah, I see that now. And he's also running, obviously, the...
Omega.
Yeah. Oh, he's also running a number 100 Numeron Dragon, because he's also running Dragoobleon and Hope Harbinger. So it realistically gives them an OTK potential through that.
Yeah, I could easily see them making 2 level 10s, overlaying them into...
2 8s.
2 8s.
Overlay into Dragoobleon and then summon Numeron Dragon.
Yep.
And that's like 9,000 damage.
Oh, yeah. Some definite OTK potential there.
Yeah, for sure.
Scarily consistent.
Yeah, the deck's really good, honestly. It sounds simple to say, but yeah.
I mean, it's a synchro archetype that every single time one of their non-tuners gets normal or special summon, they also get a level 2 tuner to go with it.
Right.
That's kind of ridiculous.
The side deck is really interesting to me. They are running the 1 Pank, 1 Nib, so is that the second Nib?
Yeah, it's the second Nib.
3 Lancia, 1 Scythe, 1 Skullmeister, 3 Lightning Storm, 1 Duster, 3 Sanctum, 1 Red Reboot. So I'm assuming that... Okay, and if you're wondering what the thing is with some of the weird ratios, like 1 Ghost Bell in the main, 1 Nib in the main...
It's because of a Crosslight Designator.
Right. And then 1 Skullmeister on the side. If they plan on seeing Skullmeister, they can deck into the 1 Skullmeister. Especially if it's like the Drytron matchup, they can deck into the 1 Skullmeister. And then they can...
stop the Skullmeister from...
Or, yeah, they can either cross that designator of the Skullmeister, or they can use it to hit their opponent if they're playing against, like, Drytron.
Yeah.
But the artifact package is really interesting, because essentially you can deck into a 7-card artifact package if you're going first. and it would allow you to, like, theoretically, like, scythe lock your opponent, or you can Lancia to, like, prevent Tri-Brigades from banishing and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the Zhangzhangs, they're dominant over there. It's a really good deck.
Oh, yeah. And then it's also, of course, another common thing that people are doing are mixing Zhangzhang with Tenyi, because they're all worms.
Right. So, the summoning of tokens does improve the consistency, because basically as long as you can summon a non-tuner, they automatically summon a tuner with it. But it could also be a weakness, because something like Imperm can deny the tuner.
And therefore deny the synchro summon.
Or the card that I think would be broken here is Token Collector.
Oh, yeah?
Because Token Collector can destroy the token and stop the tokens from being special summoned. So then they have to out the Token Collector.
How big is Token Collector?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, because I'm not sure he's very big.
I've got one.
Yeah.
Like, handy.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Because I think because the Zhangzhang monsters are, on normal summon, are surprisingly beefy. Like 17, 18, or...
Token Collector is 2,000 defense.
Okay, cool. So special summon in defense mode as per his effect, and yeah, you'll be fine. Should be fine.
You'll be fine against any of the normal summons. If they get the level 6 out, that could be an issue.
Yeah, because I think it's a 2300 you can run over Token Collector.
Yeah. So.
Another option is Book of Mooning the Token Collector, imperming the Token Collector before you summon.
Is there anything else about this that stands out to you? I think running 3 of the Ecclesia, the Maiden in White or whatever it's called, is really interesting.
Oh yeah, I wish I knew what that fusion monster was, because that'd be also good to know. It might be,
it's a level 4 dark non-effect fusion. Oh no, it might not be no effect, but it's a level 4. It's interesting to me that if they're running instant fusion, that they're not running Millennium Eyes Restrict.
It might be a case of not enough extra deck space. They had one space and they really wanted to put that in its place. Because then, let's say they normal summon, get the tuner, and you out the monster, and they're sitting there with a level 2 tuner, they can instant fusion into that and still synchro into a level 6.
Okay, so the level 4 is Magic-y Summon Beast. Oh gosh, Ancilabalus.
Okay.
You can, once returning, target one opponent's attack position monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or magic monster in your graveyard. Change it to defense position, and if you do, it loses 1,000 defense. Oh, it's a tuner.
Oh, it's a level 4 tuner. Okay.
It's literally just a level 4 tuner.
Okay, it's just that you can replace that with any level 4 fusion tuner. There's not very many of them.
It's literally just an extender.
Yeah.
Because you can instant fusion. Well, no, you can also see Monster Theseus as level 5 tuner. But the thing is, level 4 works better with this particular deck for the numbers.
Okay, yeah. I thought he was... I don't know why I thought the Sea Monster Theseus was level 4.
He's 5.
Yeah. Oh, well. It might be the only level 4 tuner monster. Tuner fusion.
Realistically, it might be.
Yeah.
So the next thing is Prank Kids. That's the next deck to talk about. I don't know that there's a ton to talk about with this deck. I know that this one went 5-1-1 if it got first in a 58 participant team tournament. He mained 1 Imperm. So he was on 3 Roxys, 3 Lampsies, 3 Fansies, 3 Dropsies, 1 Nib, 3 Maxi, 3 Ash, 1 Ghost, and the Gamma package, which almost the same card, literally the same ratios, 12 engine monsters, and the exact same hand trap lineup as the other guy.
Huh. Maybe they know each other.
Maybe. Then he's on 3 of the the quick play Prank Kids Pandemonium, which I think is the fusion spell. 1 Prank Kids Pranks, which is the continuous spell. 3 Prank Kids Place, the field spell. 3 Cross-Out Designator, 2 Called By. 2 Polymerization, 1 Thunder Dragon Fusion. That is interesting. 1 for 1. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and 1 Imperm. The 1 for 1 is super interesting because they can send one of the other ones to their grave and use summon Fansies, and they have a starter.
Oh.
Because Fansies is level 1.
Okay.
So, they're running 1 of the Rocket Ride, 1 Weather Washer, 2 Battle Butler, 1 Totally Awesome, which they can hard make using 2 Dropsies.
Yeah.
Then they have 3 Meow Meow Moo, 2 of the Link to Wind. I think that's Doodle Doodle Doo.
Yeah.
1 is that Bow Wow Bark, 1 Verte Anaconda, 1 Rip Roar and Roller Coaster, 1 of the Access Code, and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. So, the extra deck the side deck is this normal stuff. 1 Pank, 2 Nib, 3 Lancia, 2 Cosmic, 2 Droplet, 2 Evenly, 3 Lightning Storm. So the thing that sticks out to me about this deck is that they're not running the Adamancipator build. A lot of people, that's something we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But
for better or worse.
Right. It was pretty common that to do an Adamancipator Prank Kids deck. But I think realistically this is probably the best version of this deck right now, because you can run like 10 hand traps, and you can run your whatever other tech cards you want. This is also 41, which I think is realistically fine, because you're running essentially 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 starters.
Yeah.
If you include 1 for 1 in the 3 Prank Kids place. And 16 starters, you should have like a 92% chance or 90% chance, something like that, of opening a starter.
Something like that.
You would think anyway.
Yeah, you would think.
Oh. Yeah, it's...
In actual practice, it's probably much lower.
No. Well, okay. So I was at Locals yesterday, and one of the guys I went to Locals with was running Prank Kids, and he was running 16 starters because he was running 3 of each of the kids, 3 place, and a terraforming. He managed to not open any starters out of 13 games played about 5 or 6 times.
Jesus, no.
He did not have a good day.
No kids, no field spell.
No kids, no field spell.
Jesus.
Yeah. This deck, though, it's a really good deck, because in theory, your ability to open full combo should be there like I said, 90+% of the time.
Yeah.
You should open combo, because it's all 1-card combos. So if you can open 1-card combos 90% of the time, then...
Pretty good place to be.
Yeah. And then you can just fill the rest of your deck with defense, and maybe have a couple of blowout cards, and then you just kind of win the game from there.
Oh, yeah.
The next deck is Virtual World. The thing that obviously stands apart here is that over there they still have 1 True King for some reason.
Yep. Still got the 1 VFD.
Right. This one is still running Ultimate Zolkeen, even though he's not running any of the fusion. Oh, well, he's running Crystal Wing. Okay, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you run 1 Ultimate Zolkeen, you can do Crystal Wing, you can do VFD stuff, you can do your Stardust Charge Warrior plays, you can do Constellar Ptolemy M7. There's a lot of versatility here. I lost to this deck yesterday. The biggest difference over there is that they have 2 E-Telly and obviously Maxi.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that everybody over there is running the Gamma package. I mean, everybody's running the Gamma package. So,
I guess the reduction to 2 made them say, "Oh, hey, this is more easily fits in my deck now."
Yeah. The really interesting thing about this is that this metagame report, this is the first week that Zhang is
legal.
In the first week that it's legal, 15% of the metagame. Flunderies also made the top cut on debut, but way smaller, a third of the amount.
Yeah. I think that with the Zhang Zhen though, the numbers is a lot of new toy syndrome, because that's going to happen.
Yeah, but you would think that with Flunderies too.
Yeah, you would think it'd be more comparable. But then I think this also shows the different power levels of the 2 decks. It might be that Flunderies has a higher... like it's easier to pilot, so it's easier to pick up and learn, but doesn't output boards near as powerful as, say, a whatever de fleur.
Well, and the other thing is that the Zhongzhang, they have Qi Zhao, the Zhongzhang Grand Swordmaster,
Yeah.
with the Baroness de Fleur, and which both have negation effects, so they can put out boards of multiple negates. And
compared to Flunderies, who don't really put out negates, they focus more on putting continuous effects on the field to keep your opponent from special summoning.
Right.
From shutting your opponent down. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about specifically the Zhongzhang to me that's interesting is that even though they're a Synchro 8 spam deck, they don't run any links. And as a result, even though they synchro into 8 with ease, they can't really run Borreload Savage.
Which is disappointing.
It's interesting.
Again, though, it's a synchro deck, not a link spam deck that can synchro.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of this is really, it's interesting to me because it's very different from the previous metagame reports. Obviously, with the introduction of Flunderies and Zhongzhang, it changes kind of everything about the metagame over there. But before this, you have Virtual World taking up almost 20% of the meta. Prank Kids around 10. Drytron around 7. Tri-Brigade around 7. I mean, you have decks like Tri-Brigade just completely power crept out of the meta over there.
Oh, yeah, and then other decks like Virtual World are still running around, not quite at full power, because they only get 1 VFD, but still running around with some ridiculous nonsense.
Right.
And you know what? It's going to be nice seeing a synchro monster that isn't Borreload Savage.
Honestly, I really don't. I kept telling myself since we got back into the game that I haven't really loved synchro decks. But honestly, I kind of feel like it's okay if there's no Borreload Savage. I mean, sure, you still have boards with negates to deal with, but
yeah, but
Dark Ruler No More handles that.
Yeah, but also it's not Borreload Savage.
Right.
It's something different. It's
diversity.
Yeah, it's a little more diversity in the synchros outside of I'm just going to make Borreload Savage over and over. Oh no, you stopped my Borreload Savage. I'm just going to make Chaos Ruler now instead.
Right. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the OCG Metagame Report. Like I said, all this information came from roadoftheking.com. It is a wonderful resource. If you have any questions, feel free to hit us up. Let's go on ahead and take a very short ad break, and we will move on into
some very underrated decks, we think.
Right. All right, so this next bit comes in is actually a suggestion from a listener, Sean, on Twitter. Thank you so much. We love to hear from our listeners, so shout out to you. We really appreciate it. What we're going to talk about today a little bit is the underrated decks of the format. So we've thought about this a little bit, and we think that when this was suggested, it was really meant like deep dive stuff that is he was more talking about stuff that doesn't see play because they've been written off entirely.
Yeah.
I think he was talking more like for hires and UAs.
Yeah, something like that.
Right. And those are underrated decks. But when I see this underrated archetypes, I always think about things from like a competitiveness standpoint. Being just like I'm a really competitive player. I like to go to lots of tournaments. I like to pilot meta decks. Right now I'm on Tri-Brigade. At different times I've been on Drytron. I've been on Zulich. I'm always on something really meta. So that's just kind of how I think about this. So some of the things that just immediately pop into my mind are something like the water deck. Like Mermail, Deep Sea Atlantean, Water.
Yeah, it's a bunch of archetypes that are just kind of mashed together that are all water attribute centric.
Right. So, the cool thing about this water deck is that, yes, it was a top tier deck in 2013 and 2014, and in a lot of people's minds, it's been power crept. So you haven't really seen any relevance from this deck in several years. But the deck is still very playable. It still has a great tuner package. You can run Hulky Fibrax. You can do a lot of link climbing. If you want, you can run Moulin Glacia. You can go for a hand rip on turn 0 to take a couple cards out of your opponent's hand. You can really end on some imposing boards, and that's not even where the deck shines. The true shine and potential of this deck is in the board breaking. The deck has so much recursiveness and so much going second power that you can basically power through any board and just break it. Whether you want to do a dedicated going second build with Dark Rulers and Lightning Storms, or droplets, whatever, or if you just want to, go for the kill. Whatever you want, it's very doable here. And the deck, it's really underrated. It's a good deck, and it just hasn't seen play in several years now because of a lack of attention.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure that if more and more people would actually look at the deck, or even maybe pick it up for locals, there'd be a lot more. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot more adjustments? No. Innovation. There'd be some innovation with the deck. Might come up with some one or two new combos, one or two new combo pieces, that kind of thing. But again, very few people have actually bothered with the deck in many, many years. So,
right.
Also, it can run Gozen Match. I just realized.
Unfortunately, yes, it absolutely can. It's, I don't know. I still think it's a good deck. It's an extremely, extremely, what's the word I'm looking for? It's non-linear.
Yeah.
So the hands in the deck every hand plays differently, and you truly have to understand everything about what's going on before you go into it.
Oh yeah. The same, 2-card combo can have starting with the same 1 or 2 cards can end in 5 or 6 different possible wards.
Oh, for sure.
All based on, what combination of stuff you search and special summon and blah blah blah.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting directions that you can go with the deck, but I do think the deck has a very high skill ceiling, and it still has a very high power ceiling, even in today's day and age. So, that was the first deck I want to talk about. Give me a deck that you want to talk about.
Well, I wanted to discuss Plunder Patrol if we want to stick with the water theme.
Okay, all right. So tell us some stuff about Plunder Patrol.
Okay, so the whole shtick behind the Plunder Patrols is all the main deck monsters are all the pirates, and their whole shtick is you target one of your opponent's monsters with an attribute, obviously, then special summon one of the ships out of your extra deck that match the attribute. Right now they only have 3 of the attributes. I want to say Dark, Light, and Fire, I think.
Okay.
One's a fusion, one's a single, one's the Exceed. The Exceed one is as long as it has a Plunder Patrol monster equipped to it. Whenever they're on summon, they equip a Plunder Patrol monster to them. It becomes Cosmic Cyclone. Just straight up Cosmic Cyclone without the life point cost.
Okay.
Let's see, the Synchro... I don't quite remember what the Synchro does. But basically, they all get these ridiculous effects, and the only limitation on them is that your opponent has to have the correct attribute on board for you to properly summon the correct ship out of your extra deck. Pulling it up now so I can read these effects.
No, you're good. You're good. And the other thing that's really interesting to me about the plunders is, okay, there's 2 other things about this particular deck, is that, one, most of the ingredients for this deck are going to get reprinted in the 2021 Megatins. And the only one that's really like a new card that just got printed this year just came out of Lightning Overdrive. It's a support card for the archetype. I think it was one of the new ships. And it is also really good.
No, it didn't get a new ship. It got Black Eyes, the Sea Guide.
Okay, yeah. But that card really does help the deck a lot.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Black Eyes, the Sea Guide, you can target a Planet Patrol monster in your graveyard, except itself. You cannot special monster for the rest of the turn except Planet Patrol monsters. Oh, no. Also, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, add the target to your hand. So it lets you recur your spent other Planet Patrols like Whitebeard or Bluebeard or Redbeard or Golden Hair.
I mean, that's awesome for the deck.
Oh yeah, just near infinite recursion. It's wonderful. Also, if this card is sent from the hand or monster zone to the graveyard, target a planet control card in your spell and trap card zone, special summon in defense position.
Interesting.
So it lets you get back the monsters equipped to your ships. Okay, so speaking of the ships, so we have Planet Patrol Bran, who is the Fire Synchro. All other fiend monsters gain 500 attack. You can discard a Planet Patrol card, any Planet Patrol card, to then target one spell or trap your opponent controls, banish it, then add a Planet Patrol monster from deck to hand. So this is just banish any spell or trap for a cost of one card out of your hand, and then just immediately replace it.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. This is a quick effect if this card is equipped with a Planet Control card. So you can only use it once per turn. Like I said, it's a quick effect. It is straight space Cosmic Cyclone with a body. Then you have Lisp, who is the fusion, who just lets you special summon a Planet Patrol monster card from your hand or from your spell and trap card zone as its primary effect. In addition, when your opponent's monster activates effect, discard a Planet Patrol card, negate, destroy it, and then if it's equipped with a Planet Patrol card, add another Planet Patrol card from your deck to your hand. The Ixeed, Moerk, who is dark. The fusion ship is light. The Moerk, is, like I said, is the dark Exceed. Discard one Planet Patrol card, target one effect monster opponent controls, banish it. Then you can add a Planet Patrol spell or trap from deck to hand. This is a quick effect if it is equipped with a Planet Patrol. In addition, if a Planet Patrol card you control controlled by a battle or card effect, attach one instead. And then finally we got Blackbeard himself, who is quick effect, target effect monster control, special summon a Planet Patrol monster from your extra deck with the same attribute as a monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. And if you do, equip this target to it, then draw a card. And that's on a Link 2.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, just lots and lots of just constant discard search, while also popping your opponent's stuff. The only limitation is your opponent has to have a dark, light, or fire monster on field. Which you'd think would be a problem. But light and dark are two of the most common attributes of monster in the game. And also, the kaijus exist.
Right.
Well, kaijus exist. You can run the interdimensional kaiju. If you want dark, you have to run the interdimensional kaiju. But for fire and light, you have other options that aren't kaiju. You have Lava Golem, you have Mystic Rawball. Actually, those are the only other two options. But you have other options that aren't kaijus.
Right.
Yeah, with fire, you also have Dogoran. For light, you have the Met kaijus and King Ghidorah. I don't remember what the actual kaiju name is for that.
You have
one.
options.
Yeah, you have all kinds of options where you just give your opponent the correct attribute that you need and do your thing.
Right.
And then out it with your own cards.
Would a Nibiru token do the trick?
A Nibiru token would 100% do the trick because it is light.
Nice.
So that would get you the Synchro, who has banished one of your opponent's monsters.
Right, so that clears the token and then you're going in.
Yep.
That's a really interesting deck. What do you think is the competitive viability of that deck?
At the moment, you're kind of reliant on your opponent running a dark, light, or fire deck, which right now the most common decks are Drytron, Tri-Brigade, and Prank Kids. Prank Kids has the opportunity for fire, but it's not guaranteed. Drytron is light, so that's great. Tri-Brigade
has the opportunity for fire, but it's not guaranteed.
Fire and dark.
And Earth.
And Earth. It doesn't matter with the Earth. It's dark, light, and fire. But with the dark, though, they're almost always in on a board where they can have Shurag on board.
Right.
But they also wait for the Shurag they prefer to revolt with Shurag, from what I've seen.
Yeah, but you can if you can hit them somewhere around where the Bear Brum is, because the Bear Brum's fire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like keep the Bear Brum on board, then you have access to the fusion ship. If they do revolt into Shurag, then you have access to your dark ship as well, and that'll out the Shurag.
Right.
You got options there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad deck. It's competitive.
Oh yeah. Again, its biggest issue is that let's say your opponent knows you're playing the deck, and then just kind of opts to not pick those cards.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much limited to giving your opponent a kaiju to be able to play.
So, the next deck that I want to talk about, for me, is Adamancipator. So, I know a lot of you hear Adamancipator, and your immediate thought is, we had a whole format with Adamancipator, that deck's horrible, Block Dragon, roar. But...
I mean, Block Dragon's gone.
Right, Block Dragon's been gone for almost a year now. The deck is basically a glass cannon now. The deck, if you're on pure Adamancipator, you still have the power to put up a great multi-negate board if your opponent has no interruptions.
Yeah.
The issue is, if you're with no Block Dragon, you cannot recover. You just don't have the recovery plays. Gallant Granite's a good card, and realistically, so is Quacky Mirror Guardian, and you have other things that you can do to try. You have other, peripheral support cards. But at the end of the day, with no Block Dragon, the deck just doesn't have the power to.
It has no follow through.
Pretty much, yeah. So what a lot of people have started doing to replace that follow through is giving it a more consistent start engine, which would be the Prank Kids engine.
Because Roxy's is a rock type.
Exactly. So this is what's really interesting to me, is the Prank Kids Adamancipator deck. I think that it is a very underrated deck in the meta. Realistically, I think pure Prank Kids is the better deck. But if you're more interested in going into more of a combo-heavy line, then I think that you might be more interested. If you want combo, then I think the Adamancipator version of Prank Kids is definitely the more combo-heavy deck.
Yeah, it's a more combo than a mid-range control deck.
Exactly. So your pure Prank Kids is like a mid-range control deck, like you said. It wants to nuke your field every turn, just try to keep you off of board presence, and then just go in for the kill. Whereas the Adamancipator version of Prank Kids is more interested in building a multi-negate board with like Crystal Wing Synchro or Boardload Savage and maybe a Dweller and whatever it wants basically. The cool part about that deck is that it has the versatility to kind of change what it does depending on the opponent, and your end board can be different depending on which opponent you're playing.
Oh yeah. It's got lots and lots of potential there still,
Absolutely.
Even without Block Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. I still think Adamancipator is realistically a good deck. I just don't think it's seeing any play because all the competitive players want to play things like Tri-Brigade and Drytron, and the non-competitive players probably don't want to pay out $40 for the Adamancipator researchers.
Yeah.
But it's still a popular deck in the OCG. It's still a popular deck on Dueling Book. And you need to be ready to see it, because if you see it and you don't have the correct interruptions at the correct spots, that deck will chew you up and spit you out, honestly.
It really puts you in between a rock and a hard place, doesn't it?
Ha! I hate that. I hate that you said that just there.
Too bad. I already said it. Too late.
Okay. So, between a rock and a hard place. That's tough. All right. So, what is the last deck you want to talk about?
Well, before we move on to the last deck, I gotta say that I guess that pun was really gritty.
Keep it going. Let's see how many more
All
you
right,
can crank out here.
Let's see. Man, it really makes me say it with a gravelly voice. I guess I'm really not rock and rolling with these, am I?
Are these puns getting harder?
I mean, Diamond isn't Diamond is not Crash. JoJo reference.
Oh yeah, see, I've never.
I slid that JoJo reference in there.
See, I have no idea about anything about JoJo's Bizarre
Oh,
Adventure.
Season 4 is called Diamond is not Crash. The proper translation is Diamond is Unbreakable.
Wow.
So I slid that JoJo reference in there. Okay, last deck is, in my opinion, Madolche, actually. Yes, I will admit I'm a little biased, because I'm currently, since I pretty much have that deck built, I just need, like, 1 or 2 more cards, and I have the deck fully built.
I mean, the deck is playable at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I've got it up and running and playable. At this point, all of the cards I would be adding is just to add a little more consistency. I mean, the deck runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 possible starters. And then if I open Magellan plus Salon, I can just ignore the first hand trap that comes down.
Right.
Particularly, I can ignore Nibiru by going normal summon Magellan, effective Magellan, search for Magellan, activate Salon, normal summon Magellan, search Petting, go into Rafflesia.
So, for somebody that doesn't know about the combo lines of this deck, for somebody that doesn't really know what this deck does, what is the end goal of this deck? Just Madolche for beginners. What is your goal? What is the end result?
So your end goal is going to be, if you're going first, setting up a board of Fresh Sistart and Teacher with your field spell, Chateau, Ticket, and Salon and Madolche Promenade set.
Okay.
So, Fresh Sistart protect, as long as she's pointing at a Madolche monster, protects all your Madolche spells and traps. They can't be targeted, and they can't be destroyed by card effects.
Okay.
They can still be hit with Cosmic Cyclone. Well, no, they can't be hit with Cosmic Cyclone. They can still be like, Zeused away, because it doesn't target, it's non-targeting, it's in the graveyard. Right. Stuff like that, they'll still get hit by. But, it protects your spells and traps, for your face-up Madolche spells and traps from being targeted or destroyed by card effects. Teacher lets you trigger Salon and Ticket. Salon lets you set a Madolche spell or trap. Ticket lets you add to your hand or special summon Madolche if you control a fairy. Anyway, the whole point is it gets your board into a state to where your opponent will get 1 or 2 things, because Madolche Promenade is a negate on top of recurring a resource.
Right.
And then your turn 2, going in front of OTK. If you're going second, your whole plan is to break their board via non-targeting, send back to deck with Madolche Queen Tarada, and then just OTKing with 3K beat sticks.
Right.
Or two 3K beat sticks and a 2K beat stick. Either way, your goal is to OTK.
Right. So it's you can build a board with multiple interruptions as well as OTK your opponent.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah. Now the deck does require a lot of figuring out how to use the one pudding cess in deck, because you only get one. Well, you can run multiples, but it's most efficient to only run one, because then what you can do is on your next turn, make overlay Chocolate mode on top of Teacher, and then attach the pudding cess to it, because Chocolate mode only gets her special summon from deck effect if she has a Teacher attached. If she has pudding cess attached.
Okay.
It's a lot of resource management, but the deck also, like, let's say your opponent does destroy one of your main deck Madolches, they just go right back to the deck.
Right.
And then they can actually cause you to plus off of Ticket and Salon.
So,
also the deck doesn't. Also, if you open Salon plus Magellan, the deck also does not give a flying flip about Winda.
So, where do you think realistically the deck sits in the competitive sphere?
Oh, probably like real low tier 2.
Okay.
because the deck suffers pretty hard from, oh dear God, please no Yamate Ash Senpai.
Yeah.
Please, dear God, no Ash Senpai. Ash Blossom just kind of shuts the deck down. You would think Droll and Lockbird would, but no, it's Ash. Very specifically.
That's tough.
Yeah. The reason why is because the deck only searches once, maybe twice, if you do Ticket early.
So if you can catch those early...
like, if you Ash the Magellan or the Petting... If you Ash the Magellan or the Petting Cessor, you've probably shut the deck down pretty hard.
Right.
Unless they summon Magellan and then they already have the Petting Cessor in hand and you Ash the Magellan, then they kind of shrug and keep going anyway. Like, if they normal summon Magellan, it comes down to, do they have the Salon in hand? Do they have the Petting Cessor already in their hand? What else do they... Depending on what they have in the hand, they can just not care.
Right.
And the only time they ever search to add from deck to hand is Magellan and Ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is special summoned from deck or set directly from your deck with Salon and Spells and Traps.
Right. It's a really interesting deck that I think... I mean, I hate to keep saying it, but I also think this deck is very underrated for the reason of it's really not seeing any competitive play. The only competitive play that it's seen recently, they had one top 32 at the YCS, and they had one top at an extravaganza in Europe about 6 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
So you could say that the deck is like, it's not overwhelming, it's not underwhelming, it's just kind of whelming.
Yeah, which is a word, by the way.
But I think that the real way to look at it is the representation numbers are honestly just not really there. You have a select few people playing the deck.
And those select few people really believe in the deck's abilities.
Right. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap that segment up. Now, we did have a couple of honorable mentions. We did want to talk about Pure Dragon Maid and Infernoble. Infernoble is a deck that I don't really know if you can call it underrated anymore because it's seen some recent competitive success. But even without Smoke Grenade and even without Link Cross, that deck is still really viable. Its combos are a little bit more fragile, but the real issue is that it's kind of a big brain deck. It's super non-linear. You have lots of different branching combo paths you can go through.
You really have to know what you're doing with the deck.
Yeah. And the other one is Pure Dragon Maid. I have a personal vendetta against this deck. I took a really hard L to it not long ago.
Yeah.
And I haven't really recovered from it. But it is okay. We will...
we'll probably cover it in another episode.
So that'll pretty much wrap us up for today's episode. Sorry that's a bit short of an episode, guys, but turns out when there is no announcements and no news, it is hard to make content.
Konami, please stop just going, hey, check out this really cool picture of this card, and not telling us the name or what it does or anything.
It's really pretty frustrating.
Not even from a content creator standpoint, just from a player-based standpoint. I want to know what this does. I want more than a picture.
I
want more than a picture, man. Give me an idea on what it can do, and not something as vague as it saves the souls of monsters.
For real.
Like, are you talking about the Banished Zone? Are you talking about the Graveyard? Are you just talking about lore stuff that it's never going to be touched on?
So, I think, in conclusion, we want to thank everybody for listening to today's episode of the podcast. We want to ask you to please follow us on Twitter at Top Cut Podcast. Follow Caleb at JamTheMan17. You can follow myself at DatChumley. We want to ask that you be sure to like and follow us on whatever platform you're listening, whether you're listening on iTunes, whether you're listening on Spotify, whatever you're using to listen to the show. Please make sure to like. If you're listening on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening on YouTube, heads up, you're a week behind.
Yeah. So
if you want the most up-to-date information, be sure to check us out on Spotify and iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, mostly. We want to give a huge shout-out to Team Dark Arm Dealings. They are our sister channel over on YouTube. Some other guys from our locals that have their YouTube channel. There's a lot of great content, a lot of metagame coverage, a lot of deck breakdowns, and it's really good content worth checking out. We want to ask that you please let us know how we're doing. Leave us a review or a rating if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts. If you're not listening to us on Apple Podcasts, just hop over there and do the review anyway.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You already listen to us here. You don't got to tell them you listen to it somewhere else.
Exactly. So if you could just go ahead and drop all that, drop us the likes and the reviews and the ratings. It means the world to us, and it helps us out a ton. And I think that'll wrap us up. You got anything else, Caleb?
Yes, actually. Madolche can run Gozen match, as you've just recently experienced.
Oh, Lord. Right before the podcast, we were dueling, and he goes and matched me, and it's a good thing there were no time rules, because that match went like an hour and a half.
Yeah, of just draw a pass. Okay, I activate Twin Twister, targeting my own Gozen match. Attempt to go off, you stop me. Oh, flip a second Gozen match.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Oh, man.
Anyway, take care, everybody.
Y'all have a good one, y'all.